It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
November the 30th. I think that's the last day of November. Go figure. Right on. I'm happy to be in the month of December. Now we're just full on. We're festooned. We're just holiday. We're infused now. There's no denying it. Once you hit December, I know that's tomorrow, but for me, I'm already there. It's exciting, and before we say anything else today, because I would be remiss if I didn't start the show by saying, if you don't have the Max app, or what used to be HBO and is now called Max, find someone who does and watch the Albert Brooks documentary "Defending His Life" that Rob Reiner made. That's it. That's my recommendation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been wanting to see that.
I started it last night at like 9:30. I'm like, I got to go to bed, and then I saw the thing, an ad for it, and I was like, well, hang on, I'll watch the first 5 minutes of this, and then of course 90 minutes later, I'm sitting there like, that's it, it's over. I felt ripped off. If you're not an Albert Brooks fan, you will be after you watch this. And if you're not an Albert Brooks fan, I'm going to judge you pretty harshly. So get on board. Boy, you could do a lot worse. Rob Reiner, who we had on this show last week, he and Albert Brooks go back to high school, very close friends. So that means I am now a close friend with Albert Brooks, having spoken to Rob Reiner on the phone. That's how I look at these things. Boy, is it great. And if you just want a reminder of how phenomenal a talent and how original and unique Albert Brooks is, there it is. There's my recommendation. My unsolicited recommendation for the holiday season.
Love him. Good recommendation.
Yeah. Man, is it great. I have one more recommendation now that I think about it, because we're all sitting around, the four of us and everybody else we know, and we're going, what am I going to get for Christmas for that special someone? What's going to make this holiday special? And so we at the KQ Morning Show have something for you, just to offer, just some information. Maybe this helps. We all know the song, The 12 Days of Christmas. We can tell you exactly what it's going to cost you if you want to supply all of the great things in the 12 Days of Christmas for a loved one.
I'm guessing it's going to cost you the relationship.
Well, first things first. Let's cross that bridge before we burn it. Okay.
All right.
So PNC Bank actually does an annual study, and they come up with how much it costs everything to buy from the 12 Days of Christmas. And we all felt like the least we can do is give you some information, because someone out there, someone that will forever be known as a douchebag is going to do this at least once a year. Someone does this for someone else. It's insane. So let's just go down the list. The 12 things for the 12 Days of Christmas. First on the list, 12 drummers drumming. Now, according to this, again, PNC Bank, $3,468 to hire 12 drummers. Okay,
cheap.
right there, I got to tell you, you guys don't know many drummers over at PNC Bank. I can put 12 drummers in a room for like $100.
Yeah, right. For some snacks.
Trust me, all you got to say is you don't have to set up the kit, and they'll show up and do anything you want for free.
Yeah, a bottle of Jack and some Pringles.
Yeah, literally. So hold on, 3,468 divided by 12. That's $289. Oh no, I can do that for. I'm literally take a zero off that. I can get those 12 drummers at your house for $346.
We have
easily.
A Black Friday special going right now on 12 drummers drumming.
I'm telling you right now. Hey, listen, I've spent enough time in Nashville, Tennessee to know. There's about 6 drummers that get all the sessions, and there's 600 drummers in town going, how do I break in? And I'm like, you don't. Just go get another job. There are too many drum machines in this town to put us all to work.
I think, but that's the last thing you get, right? The 12 drummer. That's the 12th day of Christmas. You get the 12 drummers. So they come in last.
No, they come in first, the way the song goes, right? Oh, no, it is. You're right. Wait, hold on.
My first day of Christmas, a partridge in a pear tree.
No, that's the final one. Anyway, on the first day of Christmas, 12 drummers drumming and a partridge in a pear tree.
I've never heard the song. So.
Yeah, it's been at least a year since I've heard it.
There's a lot of birds in there.
Yeah, you'd have
a lot of birds.
Plus, I think geese and French hens are natural enemies.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, right. There's a Office episode. Well, you've never seen The Office, Steve, but
no, I have. I've never seen the fake Office.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm
talking
about.
The original Office.
That's what I'm
talking
Wade's
about. Office or the one right over here?
I've seen the real Office.
Come into my office. No, they do that. There's a Secret Santa episode, and Andy gives Aaron the 12 Days of Christmas, and the birds just, torment her and bite her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, so someone has done this, even if it's a fictional character. Next on the list, 11 pipers piping.
Oh.
Now, these. What do we think of 11 pipers?
I think of pipe fitters.
I think my buddies all sitting around getting stoned.
Yeah, right. So 11 pipers piping for $3,200. Again, I can put 11 stoners in a room for way cheaper than $3,200.
If you get the good weed, though.
Well, these days, the higher octane weed is cheaper than ever. And again, 11 stoners for free weed. I'm just saying I can beat $3,200.
I just
Make
feel
no
like
mistake
the
about
12 drummers drumming. I mean, it kind of overlaps, doesn't it? Aren't 11 of those guys going to be stoned anyway?
That's a great point.
All right.
So basically, we're up to at most $400 already. So we're saving huge money here, but with just the first two categories. Then you got 10 lords a leaping.
Okay.
Again,
Getting complicated.
Not really sure what this means. Now the breakdown we're looking at, they based on how much it would cost to hire 10 dancers from the Philadelphia Ballet.
Oh.
Okay, I'd go more of community theater, like maybe go to Poughkeepsie?
Chaska.
Maybe, sure, keep it local. Go to Chaska and say, you got 10 people here who've ever had one ballet class. Let's go.
Maybe a street performer.
Sure.
Yeah, let's see a leap out of you.
9 ladies dancing. Zepp, you mentioned a strip club yesterday on the air.
Yeah.
We could find, and here it is, based on hiring 9 women from the Modern Dance Company in Philly, again, Philadelphia, $8,300. We can get 9 ladies dancing for cheaper than $8,300.
Yeah, I think. I mean, for sure, man. Just put on a Blink 182 song, and we've got one dancing right over here. There's one right there.
That's very good. That's a very good point. In fact, Candace, well, you could bring the Richfield. Is it the Richfield 6 or the Richfield 7?
There's 7 of us.
That's right. The Richfield 7, and then 2 of them bring a +1, and we got 9 ladies dancing to, like Zepp said, maybe Blink 182. Hell, maybe put on side 2 of Paranoid. The point is, there's going to be dancing going on.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 maids a milking.
Why does this one sound creepy?
It always sounds creepy to me. The 8 women milking cows for an hour. The federal minimum wage, mind-bogglingly, still only $7.25. So about $60 to get 8 maids of milking for an hour.
And you get the milk out of it, I
guess so.
I mean, do you get the 8 maids, or are we just watching them milk?
I think they just come in for an hour and they milk, and then you move on with it. 7 swan. Okay, here's where we get into trouble. 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying. Okay, swans a swimming, I get it.
Yeah.
But here's the price tag: $13,125. I mean, I guess that means you got to purchase the swans.
Oh, all right. Well, can't you raid? I don't know if we still are swans out. Do they go south for the winter? I don't know what the hell swans do. I feel like you could raid a park around here somewhere. There's a couple of swans, but that's a tough one. Yeah, the swans are swimming.
It seems crazy to me. 6 geese on the. Okay, so 7 swans for 13 large. 6 geese is only like $800. I honestly, at a distance, I don't know. I look at a goose or a swan, and if it's not brightly lit, I'm not going to know the difference.
One of those white snow geese.
Yeah.
Right. I think you could get that by. It depends, again, who you're purchasing the 12 Days of Christmas for. If it's someone like me that doesn't know what the hell's going on,
sure,
you're good to go.
5 gold rings. 5 14-karat gold rings, according to a national jewelry chain, will set you back only $1,245. Oh. Again, I say only because I was expecting a higher number, but you could do what I did in 10th grade for Christmas. I bought my girlfriend a diamond. I didn't get her a gold ring. I got her some gold earrings and a pendant, and then there were little diamonds on there too. And she was blown away, and she said, "Oh my God, are these real?" And I said, "Are these real?" Well, you're looking at them. I didn't know what she meant. What they were was something called cubic zirconia from Walgreens. But again, you can fool a lot of people a lot of the time. 4 calling birds, $600.
Oh, all right. I'm not even sure what a calling bird is. It's just
in England, it's a chick who won't stop calling your phone. 3 French hens. $330. Okay, I don't know, man. I'm just picture like I've been to French restaurants and they have those little bird dishes that come out. You can order.
Squab.
Turtle doves again. 2 turtle doves cost $750. That's insanity.
What the hell is that? I mean, what do you get? You're going to have like 100 birds in your house.
And then a partridge in a pear tree. So you need the partridge and you need the pear tree, about $319. So according to this study, the total cost of this study is $46,730. and we've chipped that thing down to like $6,000 already. So I don't know. I feel like we might have to go out and see if we this might be a challenge for the KQ Morning Show. Can we actually put all of these things in the studio between now and Christmas Day?
Maybe we'll put that up for a game show prize.
The game show prize, you win all these things or you have to supply all these things? Let's see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I like a good holiday challenge. I like a holiday challenge myself.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll take care of the maids of milking. I don't even know what I could possibly provide on this list.
All right, well, I got drummers and stoners covered. I got that. I'm claiming that. And then Candace and Tony, you guys can fight over the rest.
I'm going to the jewelry store. It's done.
Okay, great. Well, Candace,
I can wrangle up some hens.
Yeah, sure you can. You got quite a list there.
Oh, we're halfway there.
We can swap in goats for hens if we need to.
I've wrangled quite a few goats. So what's the difference?
In my day.
I'm down. I just, you know what? I'm just thrilled that we have a plan, guys. And again, $6,000 or $7,000, it's a bargain.
Yeah, I think so. Well, Mike Evans is a part of this. He can pitch in something here. There's got to be something he can round up for us out there in L.A. I don't know, Lords of Leaping or something out there. The ladies dancing, I don't know. Well, check in with Mike Evans here and see what he could chip into our 12 Days of Christmas at 6:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Thursday, November the 30th. We are at the cusp of December, for crying out loud. Let's go west. It's time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Good morning, Brother Michael.
Hey, good morning, Steve. This report brought to you by Marcus Theaters. Movie reviews tomorrow. Can't wait. Marcus Theaters, the best. And we talk about them all the time, but I tell you what, really, those lounge recliners in the theater.
Yeah. No, drink a cup of coffee first. They're too comfortable.
That's what I'm going to say. You can fall asleep in them. They're so comfortable. Let's start off with some timely nuggets. Tiger Woods is the host and will play in the Hero World Challenge golf tournament that starts today at the Albany Golf Course in the Bahamas. Tiger says he feels better than ever. He's looking forward to teeing it up. TV coverage on NBC and the Golf Channel. It isn't the old Tiger Woods, but I'll be watching just because he was the greatest to ever play, and to see him play at all, I think it's worthwhile.
Have you seen him lately?
I haven't.
Bigger than ever. He looks like a professional wrestler.
Really?
He is jacked to the nines. I'm serious. I saw a couple photos of him from a press conference this week. His biceps look like my thighs.
Wow. So you'll be watching.
Well, yeah. The way he cuts those shirts, are you kidding?
Yeah. I had mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, and tonight is the night. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will debate California Governor Gavin Newsom. It'll be on Fox. I'd be interested to see what kind of ratings you get. Will you watch that?
I'm going to watch that debate between the Cowboys and the Seahawks myself.
Ooh, I'll be on that one, too. Yeah. How about them Cowboys? Some movie news. Folks, it's true. The last 4 Disney movies combined have lost $1 billion. So much for the happiest place on earth. And Disney yesterday came out and they admitted that they believe that the reason that their movies have been losing money is because they've gotten more political in their movies, and their fan base rejected it. And I agree. You got to stay in your lane. Even South Park movie is taking some hilarious shots at Disney for trying to be everything to everybody all the time. You know, Disney became Disney because of Bambi and Snow White and Finding Nemo and Lion King and Toy Story and Pirates of the Caribbean. And I could go on and on. Disney needs to get back to that. Forget about polish. Just entertain the kids. That's what they need to do.
I imagine that's exactly what they will do.
Yep. Avatar 3 will be released Christmas 2025. Steve, I'll be honest with you. I thought the last Avatar that was underwater in more ways than one, I didn't think it was nearly as good as the first one.
I know there are people that love that first one, but I was so blown away that there was a sequel because I saw the first one twice with my kids back in the day, and I literally remembered nothing about it. It just didn't stick on any level with me. And that's a me thing. So I was always surprised the second one got so much attention and did so much business. I imagine the third one will too. This is just one of those things I had to punt on a while back and say, I don't get it, but I'm obviously in the minority.
Well, no, I was with you. I walked out going, I don't get it. Warner Brothers, they're still throwing money at Margot Robbie, this time offering her $50 million plus a percentage of the back end of the profits. Margot says she's not going to do it. Just forget about it. I think she's smart. I don't know that a second Barbie would do that well.
No, it's brilliant. I mean, there's nothing better than saying no to something that some dude in a tie wants to pay you too much money for.
Absolutely, and you walk away when you're ahead.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah, no kidding. Heavyweight champion of the world, take the belt off and go kick back.
Absolutely. How many times have we seen that with Larry Holmes and so others? That even Muhammad. I mean, so great, but went just a little too long.
Larry Holmes, the pride of Eastern PA.
There you go. Talk about a family feud. King Charles, in the last couple of weeks, doesn't hesitate to hide the fact that he openly calls his son Harry, and I quote, that fool.
Oh, he's such a spaniel, isn't he?
That fool. And here's the over and under line. Finally, an over under line on how long Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will last. According to Publicist, the over under line is 18 months. I'm going to take the over. I'm a believer. I think they're for real. I'm taking the over on 18 months. What say you?
Yeah, early to mid-30s is a time when a lot of people do decide, yeah, let's go ahead and settle this thing down a little bit. Let's see what this marriage is all about. I wouldn't be surprised if they just run off and get hitched. You know what they'll do? They'll elope on Elon Musk's or Bezos's rocket. They'll go up to just into outer space, get married, come back down.
I hear you. How about them Cowboys tonight, homie?
Yeah, I think they're going to run roughshod over the Seahawks. The Geno Smith era is done for me.
Yeah, he hit hard and ran fast, and now it's over.
That's it.
Hey, have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow. See you.
Always a pleasure, Mike. Thank you, sir. Here's a bit of sad music news that just broke in the last 10 minutes. Shane McGowan of the Pogues has passed away.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kissinger.
No, I said sad news.
Oh, okay.
Sad news. Shane McGowan, if anybody's ever seen the Pogues or his later band, Shane McGowan and the Popes, boy, he was the real deal. You got to love a guy who was credited with being the bridge between traditional Irish music and punk. That's a good bridge to be. You know, the guy who brought punk to Ireland, Shane McGowan. If this is someone you're not familiar with, just one day when you got nothing else to do, just do a little dive. His book was called his book A Drink with Shane McGowan. I love the quote. He said, "I have doubts on how good a pop singer I ever was, and I still do, but I do think I'm a good Irish singer."
Well, you're really adding to our to-do list today. So now I have to watch Albert Brooks documentary,
That's right.
and
That's
I have
right.
to listen to the Pogues. Okay, I can work that in.
One more quote from Shane McGowan. I've been drinking since I was a kid. My first Guinness when I was 6. My first bottle of whiskey when I was 7. It made the world go mad. It opened my mind to paradise. I have not been sober. I have not been dead straight, truly sober since I was 14. I have no interest in it. Drinking makes me see things clearly. Now, the jury's probably still out on some of that, but hey, he had self-awareness.
Yeah.
Can't take that away from him. So Shane McGowan, a very, a much longer run than I would have anticipated. Rest easy, brother, and thanks for all of the great music with the Pogues.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Thursday, November the 30th. Good morning. Spotify Wrapped dropped yesterday. All the artists in the world got their Spotify stream numbers, and most of them go to Instagram, and they go, hey, thanks, man. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening to us. Taylor Swift was the most streamed artist on earth in 2023 on Spotify. By the way, first time in 3 years that the number one Spotify artist wasn't Bad Bunny.
Oh, wow.
Bad Bunny, 2020, 21, 22, 3 straight years the most streamed artist. I wouldn't know Bad Bunny if he walked up and threw up on my shoes. I have no idea who Bad Bunny is.
He was just on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, my kids love that cartoon.
You know what? I saw a bit of him on SNL. I saw the clip, and I watched 4 seconds of it and was like, not interested.
I like it a lot.
If you want to know how many people streamed Taylor Swift, how many Spotify streams for Taylor Swift? Anybody want to throw a guess out there?
I'm going to say 800 trillion.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
26.1 billion streams.
Crap wad.
26.1 billion streams. Don't let them tell you Spotify doesn't make Taylor Swift rich. That's millions and millions of dollars for a woman who has millions and millions of dollars.
I don't know what scandal is going to bring her down, but no one gets that high in American pop culture without taking a hard fall. I'm curious, I don't know. Want it to happen.
She might
I
be.
think she's
Hey,
a
man.
treasure.
She is I tell you what she is she's whip smart, and she pays very close attention to what everyone else does wrong. So if anybody's going to thread that needle long term forever, I think it very well may be Taylor Swift.
I think it might be her because you're right. The smart is a whip thing. She seems to be either one step ahead, or if you say buy her music catalog and now you think you're one step ahead, she's just going to go re-record the album, sell twice as many, and make your album that you thought you had of Taylor Swift's obsolete. So she is one smart cookie. I don't know about you guys. I'm more of a Weird Al Yankovic guy. That's what I tend to stream. 80 million for Weird Al. And I only bring it up because he had this to post yesterday about it.
Hey, how you doing? Al here. Look, I'll make this really quick. I just want to thank you all for your amazing support. It's my understanding that I had over 80 million streams on Spotify this year. So if I'm doing the math right, that means I earned $12. So, enough to get myself a nice sandwich at a restaurant. So from the bottom of my heart, thanks for your support, and thanks for the sandwich.
Yeah, he's going to eat it.
It's weird to hear his voice. You rarely hear him just speaking.
Yeah, that's very true.
I met him once.
Did you?
Weird Al?
Yeah, I met him because he was here doing a show, and got to go backstage, and then Emo Phillips was there as well. And it was a lovely night. There's a nice photo of me sandwiched between them.
I was in a room with Weird Al Yankovic and a guy that looked like Emo Phillips because Weird Al Yankovic directed a Black Crowes video, fun fact.
No,
that's crazy.
It's a song it's a video that was played like 7 times worldwide. It was for a song called Only a Fool. And of all people on the planet in 1999 to walk into a studio and shoot a video with, it was Weird Al himself.
Did he try and be like one of the guys?
He was great.
Rough rocker.
No, just super pro, just as affable, nice, friendly fella. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. I just looked up, speaking of which, the Black Crowes posted 98.3 million streams. Hey, keep listening to those Crowes tunes, people. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean,
Woo,
there
baby.
it goes. I'm just watching you. You just went past. It's a clever video. Not bad.
I don't really remember much about it, what it looks like, but I do know I have a photo. I have a Polaroid of me and Al Yankovic somewhere on that set that someone took.
I'm looking at a lot of Robinson's crotch, though, however. Just a lot
of crotch shots?
A lot of crotch shots.
Guys, hey, good to see you. Real quick here. I've got the treatment for the video. Going to be a lot of crotch.
Going heavy on the crotch.
Let me see. On my new band, Bagmen, looks like we had 11, not 11 million, 11 streams. So, hey, thanks for that.
Oh.
Actually, I didn't look it up, but it's hey, we're just getting off the ground here.
Sure. For sure.
Oh, boy, Weird Al. Man, haven't thought about old Weird Al in a minute. It was a really nice day. I honestly, I'm not making this up. I don't know if I've ever seen the full video of Only a Fool. Hey, here's the video. Like, okay, cool. And I watched a minute of it, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Okay, this looks like a video.
I looked at my Spotify wrap-up yesterday because it comes out every year, and it said I listened to 54 different genres of music. I don't know if I could name 54.
No kidding.
I mean, it's,
that's 50. Yeah, truly. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who could name 54 genres?
Yeah,
I don't think that's right.
Those Spotify liars.
Something's wrong there.
Weird, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to. I have Spotify, but I don't have time to look at this. I don't care. I know what I like.
Oh, I look at mine. Mine's always the same. My top 5 favorite songs were all Black Sabbath. So, things don't change.
Candace, is that cause for alarm on any level?
Why?
Well, you've heard all these songs so many times,
So what?
and you go back to the well over and over
Back
and over.
off, man. I'm sorry that I love what I love. Maybe you should try.
Defend your darkness.
Yeah.
Wow, fair enough. All right.
Make an excellent girlfriend. I always like the ladies that just let me make the same mistakes over and over and didn't punish me for it. By the way, according to Wikipedia, which is never wrong, because anybody could type this into Wikipedia, but there are over 1,200 definable genres of music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tony only listened to 53 of them.
yeah,
He's a loser.
Scratch the surface.
It's so funny. There's over 1,100 genres you didn't even get to.
Oh, my God.
You think you're a music fan?
List them. In rock, there's about 500 just in rock alone. They're trying too hard. Who's doing all this? Who's coming up with all these subgenres of music? All right, I'm putting that away. I was listening on YouTube the other day to some punk gospel music. You ever heard punk gospel?
No.
Don't.
Wow.
Your time.
I for some reason, I'm reminded of the time Greg Allman in an interview was asked, "Do you listen to rap?" And he said, "Rap? No, that's just short for crap."
That's right.
Which is, honest to God, the funniest, dumbest thing anyone ever said. So, Candace, have you ever been in a relationship where Black Sabbath got in the way?
Not yet.
Not yet. I mean, I'm just curious, man. I mean, there could be a lad, a younger man than me, but a guy age appropriate for you who one day looks at you and says, "Seriously, what's up with all the Sabbath? I'm a little spooked here." I was just curious if that had happened.
Yeah, I don't really date younger men, so.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I'm over it. I've had a couple bad experiences with the youngins. No offense out there. If you're
Are
under
you
25.
the kind of girl in a relationship? Let's just lay it on the table. Any problem, doing a booger check on your date before you head out the door?
No, I'll booger it up.
Yeah, I mean, once you're a couple, a whole lot of walls come down. On social graces no longer mean anything because you are joined. It's a party of two. It's a team of two, and you have to make sure everyone's nose is clear before you leave the house. That's what I'm curious if that's a weird thing.
We weren't dating, but I did pluck a nose hair out of Dave Mordahl's nose before one of our public events.
That's his thing, though.
Yeah.
He'll ask for that.
Yeah.
I usually see them. Well, they're really long.
Yeah, he actually uses a hair gel to straighten them so that they stick out of his nose so that someone will come in for the pluck. I said pluck.
Yeah, I can't remember a time where Rosemary and I where we weren't, as you're walking, and I don't even notice it until I think about it. But the idea of, does this look okay? Is this weird? Is that all right? Is this what and it could be anything from the jacket, the pants riding too high. Do I have something hanging out of my nose? There's just constantly giving each other the safety check.
Right.
And I do remember the first time very clearly that we ever had a conversation that carried on as I went into the bathroom. And we just kept going. I wasn't dropping a deuce early days, but like I said, I got to take a leak, and she had a lot to say, and so she just followed me in there to continue berating me while I urinated, and I was like, "We're a couple now." Yeah. Oh, this is a real thing. Yeah. Because once you're not interrupting conversations to relieve oneself, then you've gone past a line you didn't even see coming.
I'm thinking of two relationships now. One that ended because we weren't a couple because for these very gross reasons, and one was out having a sushi with some friends, and we get home later that night, and I have a big piece of rice in my mustache that I did not notice. I mean, everybody says it just looks like a huge zit, actually.
Right.
If your mustache could have a zit, I had a big zit in my mustache. And I looked at him like, "Hey, did you see this big piece of rice?" She goes, "Yeah, it's been there since dinner." It's been there since dinner.
Wow.
We've been dating for 3 months. I'm crashing at your pad, and you're not telling me there's rice in my stash?
Give it a flick. Reach over.
That's something. So that one was done. And not immediately, like I stormed out of there, but inside it died. And then the other one was, when she was showering, again, we've been together for a couple of months, and I thought it would probably be okay to go in and take a dump while she showered.
Okay.
Don't do that.
I did that.
Oh,
No,
that's on you.
Well,
the steam and the humidity in the room, and then it just grabs a hold of that odor. Oh.
Wait a second, mine doesn't stink. Haven't you? All right, married men of many years. Could you do that? Go in and dump while your other is showering?
No.
Really?
Wouldn't do that. No.
Really?
No, just because it's inconsiderate.
By the way, wouldn't think twice about it.
Really?
If it's what am I going to do? Hold it in? That's poisons. It's toxins. You got to let that stuff go.
On my third date with Maria, she helped me pee. She helped stand me up while I peed into a toilet.
Well, how do you learn until you're shown how to do it?
Right, exactly. All over her leg. All over her leg. Who knew it was going to go left? It usually goes right.
Brian, I know on the farm we wear diapers, but we're in the city now.
No, it was awkward, too. I broke my leg and, just shattered it in 4 places. And I had to hop into the bathroom, and this was right after it happened. They've got me there in that little emergency room out at the ski place. And I'm like, I laid there for 3 hours before I could go into the hospital. And I'm like, I got to pee. I got to do it. And just standing up, you almost passed out. And she was an emergency room nurse. She's like, come on, get in here, pull your pants down, pee. And I'm like, we've only seen each other's genitals in the dark. I don't know. And but we got through that, and it was a bonding experience. I can't believe you wouldn't crap in front of your wife.
That's what they say. I've read that. Like a couple therapists who work with couples, they say, there's 2 things. They say you got to travel together to see if you're built for the long haul. If you can take a long trip and still like each other. And the other one is if you've broken your leg and she can handle your man part to help you urinate, and it's all then you've got the right girl. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere.
That's why I broke my leg. I'm like, let's just get right to it. I'm getting too old for this crap. I've got to know today if she's the kind of woman. All right, let me ask you, married fellas, then. All right, the dump, that's an extreme one. That's going right ground zero with that one. What about something simple like sharing a toothbrush? You're together. Oh, we only have one toothbrush. Would you guys share a toothbrush?
It happened many times.
Disgusting.
You had to, yeah.
No, I don't like that at all. I'd rather do the poop thing.
Okay. You'd rather do. Okay, but what if there's no toilet paper and all you have is a toothbrush? No, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Would you brush his teeth while he was pooping?
See, that's the key right there.
What about popping a zit on the back? The hard to reach.
No, that's not.
I don't know.
Not popping a pimple.
Nope.
Pimple popper.
Nope.
Again, the poop thing is better than that for me.
Wow. Yeah.
It's kind of your thing. You bring up every time we bring up poop, you giggle.
See, I'm not worried about the toothbrush thing because every time I've been in a situation where I had to use Rosemary's toothbrush, I run it under hot water for a second and a half, and I know that does the job. That cleans off
sterilizes it. Sure.
Yes, it's completely sterilized.
All right, we've got to jump topics here. Heck, we got a game show at 8 o'clock. We've got Sam Ekstrom. We're talking Vikings football at 8:30. Nate Abshire, our comedian, coming in at 9. So let's bounce here. We have a story. Now, I know there's some parents right now at this very moment, if not dropping their kids off at school, getting ready to drop the kids off at school. What if you showed up at school, the elementary school, kids loving Santa this time of the year, and there's a Grinch standing there, an actual Grinch saying Santa isn't real? I mean, how would you respond to that? Well, have some audio. That happened. Somebody's life is so low out there, they actually did this, and were confronted by a parent. It's some fun audio. That's coming here at 7:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle. A song about, kids going to Hollywood and trying to make it. It's not a song about kids just trying to walk to school in the morning without someone ruining their holiday. But, hey, one man's jungle is another man's right to share an opinion. In Amarillo, Texas, outside of an elementary school, a guy named David Grisham, and I had to Google it, making sure that's not the guy that wrote The Firm and A Time to Kill. That's John Grisham. Totally different cat. But I did think, wouldn't it be funny if it was like this guy who sold 38 million books and had all these movies made? A guy named David Grisham It turns out, let me see. Let me just make sure I know what I'm talking about. I believe he's what you call a preacher man.
Hey.
He's a preacher man.
Hey, man.
He set up shop outside of an elementary school in a Grinch costume with a Santa hat and vest. You know, the Grinch dressed as Santa. You can picture that, right?
Yeah.
He's standing outside of a school holding a sign in very, very easy-to-read block letters. Santa is fake. Jesus is real.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. He's got the evidence. What's his name here? Not John Grisham. It's but anyway, Mr.
Let's go with John Grisham. Let's say celebrated author John Grisham. No, it's David Grisham is his name.
So Dave pops out of bed in the morning, looks in the mirror, and thinks, I got it. I know
Today's
what I'm going to do today.
Today's the day.
What's that little Grinch heart? It was just, 2 or 3 sizes too small. Are you happy? Are you getting by? Are you getting the most out of this life if this is how you decide to spend your day? How is he received at the elementary school? And his Jesus is real, Santa is a myth sign. Well, we've got the audio right here. By the way, confronted by a parent. We'll start off with David.
We shouldn't lie to children.
Knock it off.
Here comes Dad.
Get away from my stuff. Get away from my stuff.
Jerk off.
Got your license plate number. Got your license plate.
Uh-oh, he's got your license plate. Someone's getting a coal in their stocking.
Jerk off and bitch.
Yeah, what was that?
Jerk off.
Got your license plate number.
All right.
Got your license plate.
I am right there with Dad. I'm shoulder to shoulder. However, you have to, think this out. This is the maturation process in my life because I was just a scrapper. First thing, you lead with your fist, right? Just get face first in there. But think about this. You know that you're going to have to get physical because this guy's nuts. He's clearly crazy. You're going to have to get physical with a Grinch in front of the kids and the moms. And you can't win this. There are no winners here.
No, you really can't. Keanu Reeves said in an interview a couple months ago, I'm at the point in life where I never argue with anyone about anything. If someone says 1 + 1 = 5, I say, sure, man, and just keep on moving. Which is really great. It makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. ABC 7 in Amarillo interviewed Grisham. They said, why do you not understand that parents are upset? And he said, I understand why they're upset. They're upset because they're prideful and don't want to admit that they're lying to their children, and that's wrong in spite of what God's word says. They're more concerned with the traditions of men rather than the truth.
Yeah, right. No, we know what we're doing. We know we're lying to our children, right? Because
and by the way, I don't hold anyone's beliefs or faith against them. I grew up in a Christian household. But this is the exact kind of guy where if you said, hey, man, who wrote the books of the Bible? He'd go, Jesus. It's like, no, not so much. Not really. Some other guys did. Some guys that didn't even know the man. But anyway, it's like, dude, you know what I know? I know who wrote the Grinch. I know for a fact who wrote the Grinch. I can Google it. I can tell you his name. But as far as who wrote the Bible, you don't know, so shut up.
Jerk off.
Who said which?
Yeah.
Who's the jerk off? Who's the bitch?
Yeah, right. I think Dad went with bitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is just strong.
Yep.
Like you said, Zepp, the guy wakes up. There's so many things in life that I think I see someone do and I go, I get the idea. I can see where the thought came from, but the execution is what blows my mind. Like, famously in rock terms, Keith Moon, we've all looked at a pool and thought, I want to drive a car into that pool. We've all thought that.
Yes.
He actually did it.
He did it.
He said, hey, guys, everybody clear out, look out, here it comes, and then by God, he did it.
Right.
That's that line. That's the difference. I think about that sometimes when I see bumper stickers. I go, I get seeing that at the truck stop and thinking it's funny, but you bought it, peeled it, and stuck it on your car forever.
Yeah, placed it perfectly.
Yeah.
We were just supposed to snicker at it, not actually live it, you know.
There's a car, I've mentioned this on the air, there's a Dodge Charger, a Challenger, and I see it near our studio. I see it in Dinkytown. I've seen this car 4 or 5 times this year. I just end up behind it in the morning traffic as I'm leaving, or I see it parked. It's in Dinkytown, and on the back of this car is a bumper sticker that says, only gay cops pull me over.
So weird.
And I'm like, what, you... okay, you see that, you think, oh, that's kind of funny. But then you committed. You have this really nice brand new car, and that's what you put that's the sticker you put on there forever. Kind of mind-blowing.
I mean, if you're a gay cop, would you not just pull him over?
Of course.
And give him a bad time. Or just a cop. I don't care, any cop. Just pull this guy over. But
you're right.
Yeah, right, exactly. This guy, besides, your method is wrong. You know, if I could just crawl inside your crazy little skull for a second, you're dressed up as the Grinch. You're perpetuating the Grinch myth. As a parent, it's very easy. You just go, yeah, he's the Grinch. Haven't you? Let's watch the Grinch again. We'll watch it tonight. That's the kind of thing the Grinch would do. He's trying to ruin Christmas with his silliness.
I guarantee you there are kids who went home from school and their parents said, how was school today? And at least one kid went, well, it was fine. It was really weird. There was a guy dressed as the Grinch, and he kept saying, Jesus, kids, I'm the real Santa. He's fake. I'm the Santa. And, they're getting the message all wrong. Yeah. You know that was happening.
Right. Besides, we have the internet now. I mean, how old are you when you find out about Santa? I think I was like 8 when I found out, when Daryl came in and there is no Santa, and then there was some tears and shouting, and take that back right now. But I got to believe any kid, past preschool is like,
sure.
Yeah, I know, but if I go along with the whole thing, Dad gets excited, I get a lot of gifts. It's a fun party.
Connell asked, he was 6 or 7, and he just point blank asked because he had heard from, when your kid has a friend with older siblings, it's like, come on. But he came home and he kind of looked at us. He goes, I want to know. I want to know, is Santa Claus real? I think he was 7. And we're at that point, that is like, I'm going to directly lie to this kid. And I said, no, we can't do that. And my wife and I explained it to him. And the way we made it cool was we said, but we still want Marley to believe, so this is now our secret. And he was like, oh gosh, hell yeah, I'm with the adults on this one. Yeah. And he felt really good about it. And then he turned around to walk out of the room, and he just stopped dead in his tracks, and he literally went, the Easter Bunny too. And all of a sudden, he connected all the dots right there, and we were like,
"Easter Bunny's real."
Oh, damn!
Yeah, I know.
What you get for having a smart kid? He's like, "Oh, the Tooth Fairy!" Like, ow!
From 6 to 16, just like that. And
House of Cards.
You could explain it to him like this: say, "All right, yeah, there is no Santa." So you get it now. There's just we're celebrating a Christian birth of Jesus Christ, and they've placed that on December 25th. And for that, we go to church, and we have a nice dinner. It's kind of a solemn occasion. Or we can go with the Santa, and there are gifts, and it's fun, and it's songs, and it's all sorts of fun stuff. Which one would you like to go with? We sticking with Santa this year? All right, sounds good.
Yeah, there is also that thing of, like, I get it totally. This is the birth of the Savior. Don't ask me what happened 33 years later, but this, when he was a baby, it was a great day. It was really, really nice. Right. I'm now in my mind, I'm just going right back to like my childhood Christmases, and I'm very much Christmas to me is a 70s thing, because I don't remember the 60s Christmases, and by the time I was, in the 80s, I was like a teenager and too cool to get too excited. But Christmas, my magical Christmases are 1970s. That's the decade where, that's 5 to 15. That's when Christmas really mattered as a kid.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
That 80s dance, boy, that was a moment, wasn't it? Belinda Carlisle used to do that dance. Courtney Cox, all the hotties in the 80s had that dance.
He was so clunky, though.
Boy, he really was. Yeah. Good Lord. It's whoever told him put the guitar down really miscalculated.
Mm-hmm. And that video is shot right here. Well, a building that no longer exists. That's where the Wild play now, the River Center over there, but the St. Paul Civic Center. And I had a friend that was at that show and said it was like some famous Dino De Laurentiis or somebody like that ended up directing the video. I know you'd think he would have done more with it, but they did the song and then had to do the song over again to just get the shot right. And Bruce said, that's all right, we'll make it up to you. We'll play extra long tonight. Bruce Springsteen said that. It was like a 7-hour concert.
Yeah, Brian De Palma was the director.
Yeah, all right, way off.
If
both Italian.
Well, whatever. And in their directing days kind of peaked there in the 80s, I think.
If Springsteen says we're going to play extra long, you best have a sleeping bag.
No kidding, right?
Man, that sucker. I remember a couple of years ago there was a story that came out. And, for years, my brother used to see him in the 80s all the time. And he goes, he played for 4.5 hours. And the thing was always 4 hours, 4 hours and 25 minutes, 4 hours and 40 minutes. And some Springsteen, there was a fanzine, I think it was called, is it Backstreets or one of those Springsteen songs? And they actually, okay, it's time to just put this to bed. The guy has played a 4-hour set exactly twice. And it was one time in Finland or somewhere for 4 hours and 3 minutes. And then one time was in Scranton for 4 hours and 1 minute. But a ton of 345s and 350s. But the actual 4-hour mark, only 2 times.
Okay. Well, it seemed like a long time. I remember when I was young, I first saw him in 1984 at Soldier Field. It was a gift from my parents my senior year. And so we all drove out to Soldier Field to see the Boss there. And what a show, what a tour, of course. And then by the last time I saw him, I just aged enough where I'm like, all right, I'm just going to split right now.
I don't want to have sex for 4 hours, honestly. No, right. Just man. And by the way, and that's going to end a lot better than Dancing in the Dark. I mean, whatever Born to Run. Finally, jeez, get me out of here, man. I had a moment, gut wrenching. I'll never ever get over it. And it was the year 2000. I was in New York City, and my former band, the Black Crowes, we played David Letterman, which was in Midtown CBS Theater up there, the Ed Sullivan Theater.
2000.
Exactly. And so we do the taping. It's in the afternoon, right? So you leave. It's you get out of there by 6 o'clock. And I walk out of the Ed Sullivan Theater, and I lived in Brooklyn at the time, so I just walk right across the street, and I'm going to hop on the subway to get home. At that time of day, especially, way quicker than a car could bring me. And as I'm approaching the subway stop, my phone rings, and I look down, and it's my buddy Brian, who was an MTV producer for years and years, and he's calling me, and I was like, you know what, I'll call him when I get to Brooklyn. And so I didn't take the call. I go down, get on the train, 30 minutes later, I pop up in Brooklyn, I hear the voicemail, and he goes, dude, I hope you're still in Manhattan. I'm at SIR with Earth, Wind, and Fire. They're rehearsing right now for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Get over here. And I was like, I'm already going to Brooklyn. And I called him back, and he was like, no, man, they're going to be wrapping up within 20 minutes. By the time you get here, they'll be gone. I was just blocks away from SIR when that call came, and I blew it off. And so ever since then, I've never not answered the phone. That's a lie.
That's why we're laughing.
That's exactly right. All right, fair enough. The Minnesota Vikings have a bye. Probably the best timed bye imaginable for the Vikings right now. Sam Ekstrom is a host and Vikings insider for the podcast network Locked On Minnesota. You hear him on the Ron Johnson Show, the Minnesota Football Party, and the Vikings postcast after each game, and he's with us right now, as per usual, on the KQ Morning Show. Sam, I got to admit, I'm a little disappointed. You told me, and I quote, Josh Dobbs will never lose a start as long as he's the Vikings quarterback. What the hell happened?
Oh, I did promise that. I'm so sorry. I apologize for that.
How much of this is reality coming down to earth, and he really wasn't all that great, and how much of it is actually a whole lot of weird things happened, and it's just one of those games?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question now that we get to weigh for 2 weeks as Kevin O'Connell debates which quarterback to go with for the next game against Las Vegas. My theory is this. This is now the second team of the year where Josh Dobbs has gotten traded to. He's looked immediately quite good and then tailed off. Mm-hmm. And my theory on that is that Josh Dobbs plays well when he's playing reactively, when he doesn't have the pressure of having to adhere to the exact system. So
right.
if the play initially breaks down, he goes straight to his legs. He's decisive about that, and he makes the plays just improvisationally. I think now that he's into the system more, he feels more of an obligation to adhere to it, and that means, all right, I got my second option here. I got to get the ball out.
Yeah,
sorry, body language-wise, I agree 100%. There were moments in that Bears game where I thought, why isn't he running? Why is he standing in the pocket? 2 weeks earlier, he would have been gone and 12 yards down the field.
Exactly, and it's that extra second that he wants to hang around that's costing him. That's why he couldn't make any of those great escapes against the Bears because I thought he was just a little too much of a statue in the pocket, which is not what we saw at all for the first 3 games. So maybe there's something to that, and if that's the case, then yeah, you might have a tough time sustaining with this guy for the final 5 games. So I'm in the camp of if you want to make a change, go for it. I mean, I think that you're at the point now where all of your options kind of offer something, and they all have flaws. So I wouldn't mind seeing the rookie Jaron Hall again. I mean, I think you want to have more. He's got certainly the highest upside of the 3, and I'd like to get more information about him too.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to ask. And yeah, you saw that. The problem with that playground football mentality, that sandlot football, is you only get away with it for so long in the NFL, and you don't, unless you're Michael Vick or someone, and he's no Michael Vick, but you have to fall into the system at some point. And when you kept seeing them flash back to Coach O'Connell and the grimace on his face, you realize he just wasn't executing. No, to be fair, the guy, showed up here in the middle of the week, and it wasn't that long ago, and fall into the system and learn it, and maybe he just hasn't been somewhere long enough to get that done. But yeah, the sandlot football, I think, caught up with him because, you just can't keep doing that. Who's up next? Is it Jaron Hall? Is that the next quarterback up for the Vikings? If Dobbs, let's say Dobbs is back under center here in a couple of weeks and isn't working out, who comes into the game next?
Yeah, I gave this a lot of thought yesterday. Nick Mullins was the backup against Chicago. He was technically the number 2. So in that game in particular, they viewed Mullins as the better backup. Now, if I were the head coach, I think I would go to Jaron Hall. I mean, Dobbs has shown that he's got kind of a problem with turning over the football. You look at Nick Mullins, and I think he's probably capped out in his career as a lifetime backup. He's 4-12 all time as a starter, and he turned the ball over a ton with San Francisco when he was a starter back in 2020. And that's an offensive system where most quarterbacks thrive, and he did not at all. Jaron Hall, he's untapped, right? The grass is always greener, but he actually has wonderful command of the offense. He might give you the mobility of Dobbs, but also the understanding of the offense from being in it for a full year. You might get the best of both worlds. And you want to just have the information about the rookie. You want to know if that's someone you can, consider to be your quarterback going forward. So I would go with Jaron Hall. That'd be my choice.
Yeah. Sam, explain what is actually happening as the team is getting together. They've got the bye. They're going to have a lot of practice time. Do you think they're giving equal runs to Dobbs and Hall? Or, is that how that would work? Or would they just make the decision earlier and say Jaron's getting all the snaps in practice now?
Yeah, the guys will go on vacation this week. The coaches will hang around, and they'll look at the last 4 weeks of Josh Dobbs, and they'll probably try not to be too reactionary to the Chicago game, and they'll say, all right, let's look at all 4 games. They'll make their decision, and then I think by the following week, they will have a direction. They will tell that quarterback, hey, you're getting all the first-team snaps, because they need that. They need that work in its entirety to be fully prepared. So I think they'll have a decision made. I think they'll announce that decision early next week, and we'll know, with plenty of advance notice who's going to start in Vegas.
Sam, what were your thoughts on the defensive performance? The Bears, we gave them 4 turnovers. They still never got into the end zone, 4 field goals. But Justin Fields ran around, ran up and down and all over that defense. The over blitzing at times seemed to bite us on the ass.
Yeah, the defense is currently ranked points allowed this year. That's insane. And they've played an extra game, more than a lot of people, because they haven't had their bye week yet. 8. That's so incredible from where they were last year. Now, the last 2 weeks, at Denver and then against Chicago, they need a stop at the end, and they don't get it. And the end of the game is always different, right? Because the other team is play calling with more urgency. They're taking advantage of 4th down. It's harder to get stops at the end, especially when it's just a field goal that they need, like Chicago needed. So you can knock the defense for that, and they've got to come up bigger. But you know what? They've also come up big in some other games, and that's a hard thing to be 100% at. If you can bat 50-50, getting stops at the end of games, that's probably pretty acceptable. I can't rip into a defense that gave up no touchdowns. I mean, it's really tough to do. They've done plenty the last 2 weeks to help them win football games. And I guess if there's one knock, you'd like them to intercept some more balls and create some more turnovers. But hey, they created the turnover against the Bears. They forced the fumble with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah.
They set up the offense to go in for the kill or run that clock out, and they couldn't do it. So I'm not pinning this one on the defense at all.
Yeah, Sam, so 5 games left here in the season. They're sitting at 500. Actually sitting pretty good for a playoff run here, especially given their, I guess, schedule coming down the stretch here, although the Packers are playing a little bit better. And then you've got the Lions, 2 out of the last 3 at 6-6 here. Is this a playoff team? Obviously, they're still playing as a playoff team, but that quarterback role is a big question mark. But they've what do you think about getting in here to the playoffs for the Vikings?
Yeah, well, my first thought is they could have had this defensive coordinator with last year's offense. I mean,
right.
That would have been the coup de grace right there.
Or Cousins doesn't get hurt. Can you imagine how they're playing now if Cousins is slinging the ball?
Exactly. Yep. They probably win the last 2 games with Cousins. That's for sure. I guess after seeing the last 2 weeks and the inconsistency at quarterback, I think every week's going to be a coin flip going forward. I don't know if you can, circle the Raiders and the Bengals and say those are definitely wins, but I think if you can just get to 9-8, I think you've got a really good chance to get in. So you go 3-2 the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. And the way the defense is playing, if they continue at that clip, and they seem to actually be the more reliable side of the ball right now, then, yeah, I do think you have a good chance to get in. Justin Jefferson coming back the next game, that should give whoever the quarterback is a pretty nice lift. So I still see them as a playoff team. You're going to get Green Bay in Week 17, and if they're still on your tail, that might decide it right there. It might come down to New Year's Eve, Sunday night football.
Yeah.
Fans will be tuned up at US Bank Stadium.
Oh my gosh.
That could be a huge game.
Yeah.
Sam, a week ago we had Lions and Packers, and then of course we had the Bears. Oh my! But the Lions and Packers on Thanksgiving. What did you see? What did we learn from that game that we can apply? Did the Lions just not show up? Are the Packers greatly improved? Because that was a shocking beatdown from Green Bay to me, anyway.
Yeah, we're seeing very odd regression right now from Jared Goff. The 2 weeks ago, so when they played the Bears, Goff threw the ball away 3 times. I mean, he was very turnover prone. It seems like that offense has taken a step back, and they're giving the other team a lot of opportunities, and the Packers took advantage. I think Jordan Love seems to be playing quite a bit more confidently since that Vikings loss. I mean, I thought he bottomed out against the Vikings, and now they've kind of built him back up a little bit. They're getting a little healthier. Their running game is producing a little bit, even though they're still missing a key back. But yeah, the Lions look vulnerable, and that defense in particular looks vulnerable too. So maybe they are not the unbeatable team we thought. It looks to me like they're headed for a 3 seed in the playoffs, and ironically, the Vikings go and beat them, a couple times down the stretch here, they could actually set up a playoff matchup with Detroit. So they could play them 3 out of 4 weeks. They could play them twice at the end of the regular season.
Oh, my God.
First week of the playoffs.
That would be nuts. And then I just want to reiterate, New Year's Eve at the US Bank Stadium is going to be on fire.
God, I mean, just camping out at a bar in downtown Minneapolis, anywhere in Minnesota. Is going to be fantastic for that one.
It's going to be awesome. Sam, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for the insight, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Yep, you bet. Talk to you then.
This just in, guys, and I want you to brace yourselves, okay? I'm just giving you a heads up. Okay. An attorney in Ohio has been suspended by his state's Supreme Court. His name is Jack Blakesley, and he has been suspended from practicing law for 1 year. Because, well, he pooped in a Pringles potato chip can and threw it into the parking lot of the Haven of Hope, a crime victim advocacy center.
All right. Well, if he doesn't make it in law, if they end up disbarring him, he's got a job as our street reporter. I'm just saying.
He is often representing, he is in court, an adversary of the Haven of Hope. Again, it's a victim advocacy group. He says, and his claim is, I did not target the center. He said this, I often poop in Pringles cans, and then I randomly throw them from my car as I drive. Because he thought that sounded better.
That's not a Molotov cocktail. That would be a what if you're throwing the poop in the Pringles can?
That's called a Merdotov cocktail. The French call that a Merdotov cocktail.
I was gonna stick up for him because I've had some emergency situations. And
when you wish you had a Pringles can.
But this is not okay. He does it all the time.
I saw that case of Pringles in your trunk. I thought they just had a sale at Costco.
God,
I get it now.
All the flies, though, gave it away. Not sure I could hit a Pringles can. A KFC bucket, sure. Who could? But
oh my God.
A Pringles can, you got it because where it's at,
Yeah. No, that's you know what that is? That's a pro. That's a lot of practice. That guy's got his 10,000 hours in. Make no mistake about it.
Oh man!
You don't just one day wake up and say I'm going to hit the can. No, not at all. That's
There's
years,
a rim shot, ladies and gentlemen.
That's years of practice right there. Hey, you can catch up with this very show, the KQ Morning Show, anytime you want, anywhere you get podcasts. The KQ Morning Show podcast is sponsored by our dear friends, Candace.
Devani's Pizza and Hot Hokies.
Yes!
I will get married there.
Candace is looking, all Candace needs is the guy. The rest of it is ready to go.
Yep.
She's got the dress picked out. She's got the food ordered. Just need the dude.
The dude? We have Nate Abshire coming in. Have you met Nate before, Candace? Hello? Where are you?
Yeah, he's the coolest. He's so funny, and he's going to be on the show. Yeah.
He's going to join us here in studio at 9 o'clock. He's headlining Acme again this weekend. He's fantastic. I don't know if he's a local guy or he just ended up being local.
Well,
he's bringing Pringles, too.
He's about to get a lot more than he bargained for, apparently. He's going to walk in and have a fiance by the time this segment's over.
Could be. Who knows? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Go to nateabshire.com if you get a chance before he joins us here at 9 o'clock and check out the cover art of his new comedy album. It's called Coming In Hot, Nate Abshire, nateabshire.com. Check out that cover art. We'll comment on that with Nate at 9 o'clock. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, November the 30th. Listen to Van Halen, Running with the Devil. First song on side one of their first album. That is what I would call a fully formed rock band.
Hell yeah.
Way to hit the ground running, fellas.
Really?
I'm telling you, I remember hearing that record for the first time and going like, well, okay. Yeah, this works perfectly well. I get excited every time I hear that song. I also get excited every time I share this with the listeners of KQ. And that is, you have an opportunity to go for a little trip. You could sail on Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea. It's back for its fifth installment, 5 Alive. And one winner and a guest will go on this sold-out voyage. You're going to sail from Miami to Cozumel on the Norwegian Pearl for a 4-day adventure combining the best rock and roll, wrestling, comedy, live podcasts, paranormal explorations, ding, 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 and all-around outrageous moments in the middle of the ocean. Right now, text the national keyword wrestling to 95819 to enter for a chance to win. Get on the Norwegian Pearl, for God's sakes, and that's not a euphemism. Okay.
God, it sounds fun.
It really does sound fun, I tell you. You have no idea how wild those winter nights in Oslo can be. Nate Abshire is in the studio with us. Nate, I apologize. Is it Abshire? I want to say Abshire.
It is Abshire. That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, sure it is. Nate Abshire's in the studio. He is no longer laying in Chauncey Gorman's bed, which is good. I appreciate that you got up. Nate is going to be at Acme tonight at 8, and the next 2 nights, Friday and Saturday, 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9:30. Nate, every dude and every band I've ever known, whether they admit it or not, got into a band because they wanted to look cool for the ladies. You apparently started in comedy to spite a lady, and that is way more admirable.
Yeah, well, it's really the same impetus, though, isn't it?
Sure it is. But I just like the idea that you were like already pissed off at a girl. So you were like, oh, yeah? Well, watch this.
At the time, it wasn't even, it was just, I did it so that I had something to do. Like, I always wanted to do stand-up.
He's nervous.
I was scared. And at that point, I was like, well, what could go wrong?
Right, sure.
It's already happened.
Yeah. And I'm sure soon enough you got the answer to that question about what could go wrong, but it was a noble effort.
The restraining order.
It didn't fix anything, if I'm being honest.
How long into life as a stand-up? So you started in 2009. This is going back 14 years. How many nights or minutes into it did you first have the thought of, I've made a terrible mistake?
It took me too long. There was no getting out at that point. My first set went well, and then
that's awful.
You get addicted to that feeling.
Sure.
And then I bombed for 2 years straight.
Yeah, the when the wind in your wings is denial, it's amazing how far you can still sail, you know?
Yep. The one thing I tell new comics when they're funny is, like, get out while you still can.
Keep the good memories.
Nate, what do you prefer to be described as? Is it offbeat good looks or is it ruggedly handsome? What is it with you?
I think ruggedly handsome only because it doesn't give away what a real wuss I am.
Right. No, you totally look like a tough guy. I mean, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, you know who's not a wuss? The guy on the cover of Coming In Hot. Your album that you have up there. Stream the album on nateabshire.com, by the way. That's badass. Who did your cover artwork for that?
My very good friend, Michelle Mildred.
Yeah, she nailed it, dude.
Absolutely nailed it.
I don't know if she nailed you, but that's a damn cool album cover.
She did not, but the album is so... I was really happy with it, and I love the cover. The cover, I think, might be better than the content.
Well, I don't know. I'm a couple of bits in.
That you would hardly be the first artist to release an album about which that could be said. Let me tell you, back in the 70s, I'd be like, look at that cool car. And I'd just put it on and go, oh, this is god awful. What the hell did I just buy?
That could be a separate subject that we do an entire segment. The albums, because you always bought them, I did anyway, based on the cover art. Oh, this one's got a cool cover art. If it was a band I hadn't... Well, I got to buy it. You know, that's how I ended up with some real stinkers, too.
Yeah, you buy an album because you love the Dodge Challenger, and then the album challenges your tastes.
Yeah, no question about that. Nate Abshire's with us on the KQ Morning Show. You're a Louisiana guy, is that correct?
Yeah, originally. I was born in Louisiana.
Whereabouts in Louisiana?
So... I was born south.
I like the answer, so, because it's obviously not New Orleans.
Not a big city. I was born about 45 minutes south of Lafayette, southwest Louisiana.
Okay.
My family's farm, like our ancestral farm, is 14 miles north of the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow. Have you ever been described by someone honestly and as meant to be a compliment as a, quote, raging Cajun?
No.
Okay. No, just wondering.
I've never really had an accent, and I've never really fit a lot of the stereotypes, except cook. I'm a good cook.
Well, wow. Okay. Fair enough.
God, what an ego.
What kind of things do you cook, Nate?
Whatever. I actually just made sour cream for the first time.
Wow.
Which...
Don't you just leave it out?
Yeah, I was just let the milk go bad, right?
Yeah. Here's the thing. My whole life, I've been buying sour cream at the supermarket, and I've been thinking like, oh, it must be like a complicated process. Mm-hmm. You just put lemon juice in cream and let it sit there, and you're done. And it's amazing. It's the best sour cream you've ever had in your life.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
That's the secret?
It's just lemon juice in cream. Walk away.
Huh.
Walk away.
Well, that's lame. I thought you were going to say, like, gator or cow's tongue or something like cool like that.
We don't need Bayou humidity either. You can do this anywhere?
Yep, you can do it anywhere.
That is astonishing. I'm just amazed I had never heard that. I mean, I'm an old man, and this is news to me.
This week, I just looked it up, and I was like, well, that can't be right. Like, I looked up the recipe. I was like, that's clearly not true. And it's true. And it blew my mind.
Fair enough. Now, did you grow up in a family of similarly unaccented Louisianans, or did you just stick out even at home?
Oh, yeah, I just stick out even among
So
my
your
family.
folks have a good solid Louisiana drawl?
My dad does. So my mom's actually originally from Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
They
All right.
met because my dad was up here at Hazelden.
Love story.
And thus the comedy.
Yep. And look,
That's where my parents met as well.
it was
A clerk in admissions.
It was after he graduated. Is that the right word? I don't know, but
I think I think the word is actually sprung.
yes, it was after that. But it was the Reagan administration. They knew each other for a couple months, and then there was a little Nate brewing, and they decided to keep it. Again,
Sure.
Those were the times.
Yeah.
And
just say yes was their answer. Yeah. Reagan reference, Candace.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
Oh no, I'm just so thankful they did.
Yeah, but it's also weird to think about, like if a cocktail waitress and a recovering addict that met each other 2 months ago can't make it work ultimately, what hope is there for the rest of us?
Damn American dream right
Man,
there.
I'm getting like the sepia-toned throat. I can see this movie like it was the Reagan era. America was different, a little more slow-paced. Where a man down on his luck, counting the minutes of every day, could meet a cocktail waitress.
Sounds like Don't Stop Believing a little bit, doesn't it?
And so were you? By the time you showed up, were they back in Louisiana?
Yes.
Wow.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Nate Abshire's in studio with us. He's at Acme tonight, 8 p.m., Friday and Saturday. 2 shows each night, 7 p.m. and 9:30. Nate, I meant to ask you this in the last segment, and it slipped my mind, but what's your problem, man?
Chronologically.
Get out the list.
I got a lot of them, and you're going to have to come to the show.
All right. Very good. Always
Yeah,
selling.
come to the show. Oh wait, you're not. Yeah, well, if you want to, because I'll be there too.
Candace is going to be there.
Well, there's the draw.
Candace, are you going tonight or over the weekend?
No, I'm going to be working over the weekend, Friday and Saturday.
Wow.
Slinging
Exciting.
drinks.
Yeah, man. That's great. Well, Nate, so the first time you did comedy, was it at Acme?
No, I did an open mic first, but it was pretty quick after that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I imagine in your travels doing this, you've come to realize, as so many people do, that Acme's as good as it gets.
Yes.
But so on the opposite side of that, the biggest just hole in the wall dump you ever did a set, what comes to mind?
Dickinson, North Dakota.
Really?
Yeah, there was this bar that it was all oil guys, and nothing against them, but it was quite rowdy.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Sure.
the sound system didn't work. And it's like 9 hours out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the bar manager was like, well, we don't have sound. Looks like I can't pay you guys. And we were like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Time to head out to the oil fields.
And so we're arguing with the bar manager, and this old guy was like, oh, I got a sound system in my truck. And we're like, okay. He goes out and he brings in an auctioneer mic.
Wow.
From maybe 1945.
Oh, my God. That's great.
I mean, the transistors were showing. And it was like a clip-on with a handheld speaker. So we're trying to just stand up in this rowdy bar where I'm like holding what is essentially like a megaphone with a lapel mic connected to it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I'm trying to do like heady one-liners that work in Minneapolis. And everyone is like, get this guy the heck out of here.
Every comic has a story like that, though, don't they? Some horror story.
Anybody ever...
Go ahead, Zep.
I was just wondering if anybody ever mix it up. It's because you've played the dive bars and you've been out there in Hickville, which is where I'm from, by the way, so I say it with...
Same.
Yeah, right, okay, so yeah, you get it. Anybody ever mix it? Anybody ever come after you? Because I know some buddies of mine that work small clubs in, say, South Dakota, and people would get pissed off sometimes.
Sometimes people get upset. I'm generally pretty good at conflict resolution. Generally pretty good at talking my way out of things, but it's never been like Like I've never feared violence, I guess.
Conflict resolution, also known as self-preservation.
And by never feared violence, I mean I choose it.
Aren't you known as the Rickles of the Midwest, though?
Yes.
That reminded me the first time my band ever made it all the way up to Boston, which was like in 1987 or 1988, Another Planet. We pulled into a club on a Saturday night to load in, and as we loaded all the gear, the guy said, well, where's your PA? And we said, what? And he goes, where's the PA? And we were like, we don't have a PA. And he goes, well, I guess you're going to have to play without vocals tonight. And we were like, we loaded up the van and drove to Albany. Never mind. Yeah, it happens. Have you ever done a gig simply for food and drink?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Drink tickets is the normal pay for stand-up comedy.
Right.
A lot of guys in bands will be like, well, you don't have to split the money. And I'm like, you can't chop up a drink ticket.
So what's the perfect amount of grease? And by grease, I mean alcohol. When are you, because there's that line with music where, a couple beers takes the edge off, and then a couple more beers makes you think you're playing brilliantly. And then a couple of beers after that, you are literally the worst ever. Is there an algorithm you go by where you're in the sweet spot, but it actually is pretty sweet?
I never have more than 2 drinks before.
Okay.
I do have an algorithm. So I never have more than 2 drinks before the early show.
Okay.
And then I'll have my third one on stage. And then the late show, it gets pretty loose.
Sure it does. Yeah, I've often thought about that, like the second show of the night. I mean, it's because there is this, playing a gig or music and comedy, there's so many similarities and there's so many parallels. Mm-hmm. But the second set of the night, I always wonder about that. It's a discipline that I don't understand, which is, go away, take a break, and then go do it all over again. I know it's not exactly word for word the same, but then I guess the difference, the energy in the room can be night and day as well between the first and second crowd.
Absolutely. Like, I try to think of the early show as for, like, nice people. Where, like, that's why it's, like, for the early show, I'm like a gentleman has 3 drinks.
Yeah.
But if you come to the late show, that's not what you're here for.
Yeah, they're doing a little pre-gaming, too, right?
Yeah. The late shows is for, it's for dirtbags. I'll just say it's for dirtbags. And I'm not one, but I can pretend.
So Nate Abshire's at Acme tonight. There's an adult show, a nice gentleman and lady show at 8 p.m. Tomorrow you've got a super nice show at 7, dirtbag show at 9:30. Same thing on Saturday. So you decide who you want to be and then pick the appropriate ticket. I like the way you lay out that. You sort of set the table for your listeners to choose who they want to be for the night.
Yeah. You pick, but know what you're buying.
Sure. Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, you were getting all kind of weird on my dog's bed here in the studio. You also have a dog. What do you got? Who's waiting for you at home?
Don't call me a liar. I had a dog. I had a husky.
Okay.
His name is Chester. I did have a husky.
Did you lose him in a pool bet?
I lost him in a breakup.
No.
That's cold.
Years
that's
ago.
worse than losing a 9-ball rack.
Yeah. And, I know that he just doesn't get the pig ears he used to.
No, of course not.
But I have a cat now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And where'd this cat come from?
The streets.
Oh,
there you go.
Alley cat.
And
yeah,
he
streetwise.
Just showed up, and then I brought him in, and now he owns the place.
It's a dirtbag cat.
He is.
That's fantastic. I love street cats.
He wakes up every
cooler.
morning and chooses violence.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. What's this cat's name?
Newt.
Oh, strong.
Yeah, I named him after. He's named after the orphan girl in Aliens.
Newt. Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was either that or Gingrich. I mean, it was one or the other.
Well, I was also a big Henry Kissinger fan, so please respect my family.
Our condolences this morning.
Nate Abshire at Acme tonight, 8 p.m. Tomorrow and Saturday, 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. Anything else you want to get off your chest before we share a history lesson with the audience?
I actually, last night, I met my first fan.
Really?
Yes.
Hold on. You're the first person that ever liked your comedy years and years ago, or it's taken you this long to have a fan? What are you saying?
I think it's the second one.
Oh, okay.
But I met a kid, And he's like, I've seen you 5 times. And I was like at the supermarket?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I love your comedy. And I was like, well, let's be friends on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And he's like, oh, I'm not on any socials. And I'm like, oh, great. My first fan can't tell anybody. This is perfect for me.
You found that one young person out there not on any social media. Homeless?
Man.
No, put together, just doesn't want it. And like, good for him.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, it's, you know what? You cast a wide net. You can't be sure who's going to get caught up in that thing, but you just keep being you, brother.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.